Hello chess family, it's me National Master Jesse James, and today we're going over a very fun game, Attacking with the Scotch. In this game I want to go ahead and go over the idea about moving your f-pawn, which is going to help create good attacking chances. Alright, let's get to it. Every good game should start from the beginning, so we're going to start off with e4, e5, a classic move. Knight f3 attacks the pawn, knight c6 defends the pawn, and here we go with pawn to d4, we've got our Scotch. The best move here, pawn takes on d4, knight takes on d4, knight f6, a good way to go ahead and get an equal game against white in this one. And, well, we're going to go ahead and play knight c3, also known as the four-knight Scotch. And here my opponent played bishop b4, a very good move. With this move, you develop your next piece, getting ready to castle, but also the simple threat of knight takes on e4 gets threatened. And here, white would like to play bishop d3, but be careful. If you play bishop d3 a little too soon, you see you're embarrassed. Knight takes on d4 here, and, well, the queen cannot take back. So what do? Simple chess. We're going to go ahead and trade off first. Knight takes knight, pawn takes, and then we bring the bishop over to d3. Here my opponent went ahead and castled. I go ahead and castle. And then they played rook over to e8, a move I'm very happy to see. I definitely think a better move in this position is to play pawn to d5, when the best move is just to go ahead and take. And although I do like to play these positions, I would rather have pawns in the center than not have them. So I'm very happy to see the rook to e8 move. Because after this, I can go ahead and play, well, I want to stop the knight from taking on e4. Well, so let's rewind a little bit. Here, black has two attackers attacking on e4. And here, well, the bishop is attacking one of the defenders. So here's black's threat is to take, and then they'll simply take on e4. Well, let's go ahead and develop the next piece and stop this idea. Here we're going to go ahead and play bishop to g5. And here black went ahead and played pawn to h6. A little bit of a test move here. So here you can go ahead and take, although I do not recommend, because this simply will give them the bishop pair. And now I do believe that black is definitely a bit better here. I mean, the bishop pair is always something good. So here instead, let's just go ahead and maintain the pin and play bishop to h4. Now there is one variation of playing pawn to g5 here that does get played sometimes, although white is still better in these lines, believe it or not. And I'll actually go over a game at some point with this, because white just gets really good attacking chances. I mean, hey, moving pawns in front of your king, how could that ever be the best move, right? So here, my opponent just went ahead and played the normal move here and played bishop back to e7. Some people have taken on c3, but I'm very happy as I get the bishop pair, even though I get double pawns. And, well, at this point, I'm very happy with my position. And so what do you play here as white? There's many good moves to play here. Here, this is the point of the game and why I want to review it. We're going to go ahead and play the idea I like, pawn to f4. The computer doesn't like it as much, but here I love this move. What's the idea? Well, here we have two strong ideas. We can either push for e5 in these lines, or we can push to f5 in these lines, basically pushing our pawns forward. This opens up the rook and, well, creates good attacking chances. And here, well, my opponent played a move I'm always happy to see, pawn to d6. And this move does make sense here. Now, you do have to be careful as you cannot push the pawns too fast here, or you could get to bad positions. For instance, if you played something like f5 here, well, this is not too good because, well, yeah, what's the plan here? Are you going to push it forward again? Black has very good blockading squares now here on the dark squares. Okay, what about playing e5? e5 here actually just drops a pawn. Pawn takes, queen to d... Oh, not there. Queen to d4 check. And here we're forking the pawn and the king. So black just gets an extra pawn here and gets into a better position. So what's the best move here to play? Well, you can simply develop your pieces, or you can do what I like to do, one of the most aggressive moves, king to h1. How is this aggressive? Well, by playing king over to h1, we're escaping that queen to d4 check. So this move is getting out of checks and allowing me to look about my ideas about playing e5. And e5 is definitely a move I'd like to play here more this time rather than f5. As I said before, f5, there's nothing for the pawn to move forward. But after e5, you're hoping for a trade of pawns, and the open f-file is going to give you very good attacking chances. Okay, here we go. Knight to g4 got played, a very interesting move. Here, black makes a good decision by going ahead and making some trades. The idea here, knight to g4 threatens knight to e3, forking my rook and my bishop. I mean, my queen, but also the trade of the bishop. So here I cannot keep my bishop. Simple chess. Let's just go ahead and take. Here black takes back, queen takes, best move. And here, because of knight to e3, we gotta develop our queen here. Where's the best square? Here I choose queen to f3, which I really like. Queen f3 is going to go ahead and cover the square, but also allow the queen to go maybe to g3 or h3, depending on what black plays. And this is the idea. We're building up our kingside attack. Okay, black seeing that the knight is no longer doing anything over here, play the knight back to f6. Let's get our last piece into the game. It's the rook over here. What do you play? Rook over to e1, of course. Here we're building up for the e5 pawn move yet again. And here my opponent played a decent move here. They went ahead and played bishop to b7. The bishop is placed along diagonal, but it turns out to be a little too late at this point. Now white has a very good move to start the attack. Hopefully you know it. It's white to move. What do you play here? All right, if you haven't already, go ahead and give us that like and subscribe. Remember, liking this video is going to share this with more chess players. All right, so what was the move here? Here you get to play the very nice pawn to e5. Again, the idea is to try and open up this position and get the f-file working for our rook. Well, I don't know if there's any other moves here. I mean, he could have taken right away, but this is definitely not good for black. After pawn takes, I'm very happy here. The knight can jump back to h7, it can go back to f7, but this pawn's very good. I've opened up my f-file for my rook's defending this pawn, and you can see that these double pawns definitely look bad here. Before, they weren't so bad because they were kind of next to each other. There was, 3 pawns over there, so they can kind of work together, but 2 isolated double pawns, definitely a bad thing. So my opponent makes a very good move here. He went ahead and played knight to d7. It makes sense. You don't want to mess up your pawn structure, and now there's actually a little bit of threat. Maybe the pawn will take pawn takes, knight takes, and maybe you can just snack on a pawn. This is definitely something that you have to be worried about because, well, a pawn is a pawn after all, right? And here, I wanted to go ahead and put a little bit of defense on this. I went ahead and played queen to g3. The computer does not like this move. The computer likes the move of queen to e4, which I think is okay. I don't want the queen on this file because I have an idea that I want to do, which we'll see pretty soon. And here, after the move like knight to f8, guarding on h7, yeah, the computer's already saying you should move your queen back to f3. So I don't really see how this would be the most beneficial move here. Like I said, I like this queen g3 move. It defends on e5, and I'm hoping for the opening of the f-file. And, sometimes your prayers are answered. Sometimes they'll help you out and take on e5 here. I was very happy to see that. Pawn takes on e5 here. And here my opponent made the blunderous move of pawn to c5. Uh-oh. It's now white to move and get a very good attacking chance. Here my opponent's best decision was simply just to go ahead and take on e5 here. And maybe the idea is just to play something like pawn to f6. Now, I do have a slight edge here, but an extra pawn is an extra pawn, as I've said before. So definitely something that they should have thought about doing. Fortunately for me, they didn't play that. They played the blunderous move of pawn c5, and now I crush through with a very nice attack. It's white to move. What do you play here? All right, hopefully you push pause and try to figure it out. Here you get to play the very nice pawn to e6. This whole idea is about opening up the diagonal for the queen and the bishop. The light squares are a little bit weak, but if you get rid of this pawn, and you can imagine the queen going to g6, things are going to go so much better. And yeah, believe it or not, the computer's saying go ahead and play knight to f6 here. That's the best move to try and defend. But after pawn takes, you can see that the light squares get weak either way. And there's definitely some very good attacking chances here too. But my opponent missed the idea and played pawn takes on e6, saying, hey, this looks like a free pawn. But now I have a very nice refutation line, meaning I just have like a forced win here. Here I went ahead and played queen to g6, as I'm sure most of you guys saw. The idea, just putting the queen over here, threatening checkmate on h7. And with the rook over here, I mean, what else can you do? Here my opponent chose the wrong move. Well, I mean, both ways I'm going to get a good attack. I'm going to win the queen in both lines either way. But here they played knight to f8. It looks like it's a saving move, but we're going to find a very nice move to stop this idea. The only other move to play was to play knight f6. But here you simply win with rook takes. Can't take back with a pawn, so queen takes. Queen h7 check, and it doesn't matter if the king goes to f8 or to f7. You can simply pin and win. But back to the game, knight to f8. I'll give you this question. It's white to move and win. What do you play here? This is where I got my double exclam. Hopefully you see it. Remove the defender. The same kind of idea is happening here. We go ahead and play. Rook takes on f8. Brilliant! And the idea here is very simple. We remove the idea so we can put our queen over to h7. And here, the queen must be lost at least with an attack to go with it. Here in the game, my opponent went ahead and played rook takes on f8. I mean, every way taking is just going to be losing. If king takes, you simply go rook f1 check. And if the king goes to g8, it's checkmate on h7. So you would have to block with the queen here and lose it. Let's see here. I guess the only other move you can try to look at would be queen takes on f8. But again, the same kind of idea as we saw before. Queen h7 check, king f7, and rook f1 check here will at least win the queen if something if not something else better can get played in this position. So black went ahead and took the best way they knew. Rook takes on f8. And here, well, it's a little bit different, but the same kind of story. We're going to go ahead and start off with queen h7 check. The king goes to f7, and here rook f1 check would be a terrible move. Remember, whenever you're attacking your opponent's king, go ahead and look at their escape square. In this scenario, it is e8. So what do you play here? Do not go queen g6 check unless you want to draw and you just want to keep repeating. Here, the best move is, of course, bishop to g6 check, forcing the king forward over here. And after this, it is just going to be a lost position. The king went to f6, and here a very nice move I like, bishop to h5. The idea is a clearance move. I'm actually threatening queen to g6 here for checkmate. And believe it or not, there's really no good move in this position. In fact, the computer is giving the best move as queen to f7. That's how bad this position is. And, well, my opponent got creative here and played bishop takes on g2, hoping for some kind of checks here. Unfortunately, after king takes on g2, there really is no good checks. And after he figured that out, he went ahead and played queen over to f7 here. And, well, let's just go ahead and take this queen. I played rook f7 check, king e7, rook takes on f7, rook takes, bishop takes, king takes. And at this point, we can just call it a game as I am just winning up an extra queen over here for no good reason. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this. This whole game was about the Scotch and about the power of playing the pawn to f4 in these variations. Just remember, use this pin with bishop to g5. And don't forget, f4 is a very nice move here, not only to help push the pawns forward, but also to get a rook lift just in case you need it. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next video.